Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This week I'm going to be discussing my second nonfiction book, and this one is called Man Eater. It is by Ryan Green, and it's the terrifying true story of cannibal killer Katherine Knight. Katherine Knight is from Australia, and Katherine didn't really have an easy go at things. So Katherine was born in 72. Nope, that's a lie. Katherine was born October 24th, 1953. So Katherine was Scorpio. She definitely had a rough go at things. From the ages of 4 and 14, she was abused by her brothers. And no, from the ages of 12 and 14, she went to stay and help out on her uncle's ranch. And while she was at her uncle's ranch, she learned how to skin animals, and she learned, how to kill chickens and goats for like food and how to take care of animals. So when her uncle committed suicide when she was 14 and she didn't really have that place as a refuge anymore, Katherine decided that she wasn't going to take any more punishment from her brothers. So when she was 15, she got a job. She got her own apartment. So throughout this time working at the slaughterhouse, which was her dream job at this point, she actually met her first husband. And for the most part, her life with her first husband was great. But any slight thing that her husband did that she didn't approve of, she got very physical with him. So her first husband was getting a little weary of her. And, they were getting these fights and arguments because she was like, you're drinking or you're probably cheating on me, but he wasn't. I don't do anything wrong. And she comes at me, she's always accusing me of things. You know what? I might as well cheat if she's going to accuse me of it anyway. So he proceeds to start cheating on her. And Katherine, the husband, when he finds out that she's pregnant, he was like, oh man, I can't leave her because she's pregnant now. That's pretty bad. So he proceeds to keep, I can kind of make this work kind of scenario, until he comes home late and she knocks him upside the head with a frying pan and he gets a concussion. From then, he's like, I have to make my escape. She's going to end up killing me one day. Katherine ends up going to labor the same day that he decides he's going to leave and not come back. And so she ends up having Melissa, their daughter, by herself, and proceeds to fall into deep depression. A few months go by, and then she decides this child she can't love. She doesn't want the baby, and proceeds to try and kill the baby. And then luckily the town drunk was on his way about his merry business, and he heard the baby crying. He proceeds to save the baby, and Katherine goes back into the mental institution. So her husband hears that, Katherine has tried to kill the child and Katherine had to be institutionalized. So he's like, it's all my fault. I left her and she just needed some help. She was probably much better now that she's got medication. So, so a few years go by and they actually have a second child. They have, the daughter's name is Natasha. And they actually have a pretty consistent life. She's taking her medication, she's doing the housewife stuff, and then she's just like, you know what? I'm kind of bored with him. So she decides she doesn't love him anymore. She's like, I don't think I ever loved him. I don't know why I'm crazy over you. You know what? I'm done. So she packs up both the kids and she leaves her husband. And so her husband's like, well, I gave it a second shot. Good riddance. And they end up divorcing. So she goes to the bar every night and she hooks up with a different guy. And amongst her doing this, she runs into David Saunders. So David sees that, kind of got a little aggressive with her first husband. He's like, yeah, no problem. I can handle her kind of situation. So they start a living situation. And he was like, oh, the girls, he loves the little girls. And he's like, he buys them a puppy. So one day, she saw the puppy was outside and David pissed her off. I think he came home drunk or something. And she proceeded to slit the dog's throat in front of him. And he was like, whoa, she's crazy. What's going on? Come to find out, she was pregnant. So at this point, you're thinking, oh, does she have like a trigger that happens when she's pregnant? She gets uber violent. But so she's being pregnant with Sarah. And so after the puppy thing, he kind of like let it go, and they got into an argument where he left for a few months and he came back and he was like, you know what? I need to get my daughter, and I'm just gonna, like, they didn't even get married at this. I don't think they ever got married, but he was like, she's crazy. I'm gonna get my kid. So he's going into town to try and get his kid. And Katherine put in a police report that he was abusive. So he got stopped at the town line, and the cops were like, hey, you got this abuse report against you. If you go into town, we're going to have to arrest you, or you can turn around and leave now. So he left. So a few more years go by, and Katherine comes across John Chillingham. And he's had a few failed divorces in the past. So, but he sees that, you know, Katherine's got herself a family here. He's got 3 daughters, and he's like, you know, daughters are cute and stuff, and she wants to be the homemaker type. Sure, you know, he's heard the rumors that she was crazy, you know, that she gets a little abusive or stuff with her husbands. Katherine tried to commit suicide by taking a whole bunch of her pills, because she thought he was going to leave her. She's at this point that, like, as long as they don't leave her, she's kind of stable. But she tried to overdose, and he found her in the hospital, and he's like, you know, I'm going to try and be with you, you know, forget what happened, we'll work it out. And they end up having a son, Eric. Finds out that when he was cheating on her, she decided that she was done with him. She actually set it up so that when he came home from work one day, she was in bed with her new lover. So her lover ended up being John Price. So next, so he leaves and was like, you know what, have fun. He even warns John. He's like, hey, she might be a good layer or whatever, but she's crazy and she's probably gonna kill somebody, you know. She ends up slicing his face, I believe. And then in comes John Price, who was the person she was having an affair with. So John has 2 kids from another marriage, and him and Katherine, he's like, you know, I think I know we just need one big house for the whole family. So he buys this big house, like a bedroom for all the children. He's, you know, because she's got 4 kids and he's got 2 kids, and you know, she's doing the great homemaker kind of situation, but she's like, you know what, I just want to be married. You're showing me like the kind of great house that you have. So when there was a point where he stayed out with the boys and didn't come home, she decided to tell his boss that, oh, he stole these first aid kits, and he got fired. So John was like, you wanted me to marry you and you told on me? And so he's like, he kicked her out of the house that they lived in. He's like, the kids can stay, but you can't come back. So he, after a while, I'm getting bad feelings. She keeps like, now she's begging me to marry her again. She's trying to sleep over, and every time they get intimate, he kicks her out. Or the setup was that Katherine dropped off all their kids to their friends' houses for a sleepover, and she was going to make him a nice meal. Also bought all this brand new lingerie, and she set it up so that he would come home, have a nice dinner. So but he was like passed out drunk. So she like, essentially raped him. And then when he woke up, he was like, okay, he finished and stuff, but he was just like, Katherine, what are you doing? You gotta go. And she was like, what do you mean? This is our fresh start, you know? Like, this is us to being together, you know? And so above the bed, she still had like her collection of knives. So she proceeded to stab him in the chest, and he's like bleeding out, and he somehow pushes her off his body and is crawling to the front door, and she's stabbing him again, and then they're fighting, and then he's managed to make it out to the front porch, and he's trying to yell help because his neighbors he just had like a bonfire with and got drunk with, he's trying to yell help, and she manages to like drag him back inside the house and proceeds to stab him. Oh my gosh, I can't remember how many times. It's like 17 times, some crazy number like that. And then she looks down and she's just like, oh crap, I killed him. And then she's like, oh, I know, you wanted to leave me, I'll feed you to your children. So she proceeds to fillet him. She deskins his body, she decapitates him, she sets up the body so that like it's sitting at the head of the table. She cuts off parts of him to cook, so she's cooking. She's like, oh, it's gonna be like a pork chop. And the title is a bit exaggerating because it says she's like a cannibal and such. So the real thing that happened was she cooked it and she was like, oh, I'm gonna feed it to the kids. And so she's like, well, I should probably take a bite because, you know, if it doesn't taste good, the kids aren't gonna eat it. So she takes a bite and immediately spits it out. She's like, oh, that's horrible, nobody's gonna eat that. Then she throws the rest of it away. So she never actually like served it to the kids. The kids were never there. But she did kill him, decapitate him, and skin him. Oh, so she tries to escape, right? They end up finding her, and she confesses to the whole thing. And she goes to jail for life in prison in 2000. And she actually goes to Mulawa High Security Prison. And she actually has a good time in jail. They even put in her file that she is never to be released. And they call her Banana. So in jail, people like she does different crafts and such, but I believe she's still currently in jail. And so, okay, so she ends up being diagnosed with bipolar disorder throughout the years, in addition to having postpartum disorder. So Katherine, I think if she's crazy. Yeah, like with or without the drugs, she's crazy and she definitely has a temper. But I think that if I was a psychologist or, you know, or some type of doctor, that I probably wouldn't have released her after she tried to kill her baby. And the fact that she abused or attempted to kill all three of her previous husbands / boyfriends. At which point do you not step in and be like, okay, you might be taking these pills and you're not walking around slicing throats, but you're showing very drastic behavior changes. Like if you get upset, you get like really upset and you want to kill. That's not just like, you piss me off, I'm gonna slap you. Like, you killed a puppy. I think that should have been a trigger that, hey, she's not probably fit for society. I mean, yeeks. So, I'm gonna rate this a 3. I'm gonna say, I mean, I finished it. There was points that I'm just like, okay, kind of get to the point. I'm kind of like over this. I don't know if it's, I don't want to say if it's the delivery. I mean, Ryan Green he told the story. He broke it up in kind of witty chapters. One of the chapters is called The Last Supper, and I'm just like, dude. I also couldn't tell if he was with or against Katherine, which I guess that's the point if you're taking a true based story, or a true story, and you're just like kind of dictating what happened. So I don't know. I felt like he could have been a little bit more personal, be like, you know, unfortunately this happened to her. So yeah, I mean, for someone who's a psycho killer, bipolar, I mean, she managed to hook 4 dudes. I mean, she might have killed the last one, but I mean, like 4 dudes and 4 kids. She's got a pretty decent like dating life. I mean, I did hear that guys like crazy, but I mean, how much crazy? Because even the guys that she abused and put into comas, they came back. I mean, is it not good to be sane? I don't know. So, until then, happy reading, and I will see you next week.